Welcome back to the Coffee Bar with your favorite bartender, A5 Cup of Coffee. We are going to be doing a spoiler review for Godzilla vs. King Kong, and it was a doozy. I loved it. Let's get this atomic breath blown out. There we go. Wonderful drink. If you want to know how to make it, go ahead and check out my other video. Show you how to make the atomic breath. Excuse the background sound. Sorry about that, guys. Can't control the neighbors. But let's get into this movie. This movie actually was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I absolutely loved it from start to finish. And let's get into it. I'm going to tell you what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, and everything in between. So first and foremost, I do want to give a great shout out to, I believe it's Adam Wingard who directs this movie. He did a wonderful job in the visuals. I mean, the visual aesthetic of this movie is absolutely awesome. I had to watch this on the big screen first. I have HBO Max, but I had to watch it on the big screen first, and it was definitely worth it. It was wonderful seeing it on the big screen, seeing those two guys go at it, King Kong versus Godzilla, my childhood heroes. If I wasn't watching Godzilla with my granddad and my dad, I was watching it with my cousin, and we even talked about it as well. So shout out to those guys to introduce me to Godzilla. And then of course King Kong. Who didn't watch King Kong when they were little? I even watched King Kong Lives, which was the second one where he had the artificial heart and all of that. Watched all of those, and even the original Godzilla versus King Kong, which this movie does pay a lot of homages to. There are a few scenes in there that come directly from the old King Kong versus Godzilla, or it's a re-edition of it, and I love the fact that they paid homage to the old movie. So again, let's go ahead and get into this movie. We first start off with King Kong being trapped on Skull Island. We find out that there has been a storm that basically took over Skull Island. Basically, the storm that was on the outside that was keeping everybody out has taken over the entire island. And Eileen, played by Rebecca Hall, has at this point started to keep a watch on Kong, kind of protecting him at this point. They formed Monarch and them. I think this is Monarch, who has formed a huge dome around Kong, and is basically to not only protect him from the weather, but it's also to protect him from Godzilla sensing him and coming toward him, because of course in this movie universe there can't be two alpha titans. And for anybody who was wondering where was King Kong during all of this, he was still on Skull Island the entire time. And we start off with him doing his daily routine, and he of course has already figured out that he's in a dome. He's not really he's at his home, but he's not in his home. It's kind of like he's being on house arrest or something like that, and he's not feeling it. Now we have the little girl Gianna, who speaks sign language to him, she's a new actress, as a matter of fact, and she actually does speak sign language. She actually is deaf, and she plays her part very well as basically the human communicator with Kong. And we see a lot more human characteristics with Kong in this movie. And I feel like instead of it being about the humans, they did make, for all intents and purposes, this is another, in my eyes, another King Kong movie. I think this is his second movie, even though Godzilla's in here. And don't get me wrong, Godzilla fans, he's definitely a lot in this movie as well. But I think this is more so about King Kong, and I think I would say this is his second movie. So he's doing his thing. He finds out that he's in a dome. He throws the stick. If you've seen that, of course you've seen the preview where he throws the tree. And this is the beginning, and they're kind of discussing, hey, what we're gonna do with him. He needs to come out. He needs to come out of his dome because it's not gonna hold him for very much longer. So we proceed past that, and we see that Brian Tyree Henry, love his character. He's basically a conspiracy theorist. If you ever seen Eight-Legged Freaks, and you remember, I can't remember his name right now, but if you remember the black guy with the dreads and he had the conspiracy theories about everything, he kind of reminds me of him, but a little bit more calmed down. But he's in here. He's a conspiracy theorist. He has a podcast, and Millie Bobby Brown's character, Madison is actually following his podcast. So he is actually trying to figure out what's going on with this new company, Apex, which seems to be like the anti-monarch. They're basically the technology. They've been putting out like different type of technologies and things of that nature. And they're covering for making what we all know now is Mechagodzilla. And we're going to get into that. Now, every time they start this thing up or they start anything, Godzilla senses it because it has the remains of Ghidorah. So it puts off this sense of another Titan, and Godzilla is going to come after it. So the reason why Godzilla is actually, where if you see in the previews where he's like hurting people, quote unquote, he's not actually hurting people per se, not on purpose. He's looking for this other Titan. He's doing the display of power. He's doing the intimidation methods. He's blowing his atomic breath. He's trying to find where these things are, but it's all underground, so he can't find it. But he keeps showing up at all these bases. And Brian Tyree Henry, he's kind of like, hey, you know what? Godzilla doesn't attack unless provoked. That's his pattern. So it has to be something with Apex. He's putting it out there to the world. He actually low-key works for Apex, and he's stolen information from them. Moving forward, Madison is telling her father, which her father, I don't know why he has this turn where he doesn't believe her since he's seen Godzilla in action for himself. But she's basically telling him, hey, we know that Godzilla saved us. He left us in peace. He doesn't, attack unless provoked. You gotta protect him. You gotta put the word out there. It's something else going on. He doesn't believe her, tells her to stay off the podcast and tells her just to go to school. And he's doing the parent thing. Enter Julian Dennison. Julian Dennison, if you don't remember him, he played in Deadpool 2. He was the kid that Deadpool was trying to save the entire time. He's in this movie. He's kind of like the sidekick. He's more of a side character, and he's fleshed out as much as we need him to be. And I like that they didn't focus on the humans as much. I know a lot of YouTubers and critics were kind of hard on the last movie, King of Monsters, but I like the last movie, to be honest. Even though it did have a lot to do with the humans or whatnot, I really like the last movie. In any case, he actually picks up Madison. They all meet and find Bernie, which is Brian Tyree Henry's character, and they go off to do a mission to Apex to find out exactly what's going on, because he's there when Godzilla actually attacks Apex, and he sees this. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's the eye of Mechagodzilla, and that's what actually brings Godzilla to this peninsula off of in Florida. So in any case, moving forward, the guy over at Apex and also Sazawa's son, they didn't really flesh him out much either one of these guys, but basically he's the big businessman. He doesn't want humans to fall behind as the Apex creatures on Earth, so that's why he's creating Mechagodzilla. Of course it's going to go wrong, but that's his reasoning behind doing it. Not a completely terrible reason. He's seen what the Titans can do, and he's at this point like, hey, we need to protect ourselves. So in any case, they meet up with Mr. Skarsgård's character. Yeah, his name doesn't really matter. He's just there. But in any case, he is Nathan. As a matter of fact, he actually has this theory on Hollow Earth, and they need his help supposedly to get to this power source that mimics Godzilla's power source. So they can basically, they're saying they want to do one thing, but basically they want to power the Mechagodzilla. That's all they want to do. In any case, they feel like if they have a Titan to lead the way, which is going to be Kong, then they can find this power source. So they go get Kong. He goes and he talks to Eileen, which is Rebecca Hall's character, and he's like, hey, can we go ahead and get Kong to lead us to this power source, and it's going to protect us from Godzilla, because Godzilla is just attacking people. We don't know what's going on. And so they take Kong from the dome, puts him on the boat, and this is where we have round one of the fight. I know everybody's been waiting on me to get to this. We get round one, and Godzilla basically comes for Kong. He senses him. They kind of put it out there that this is just like instinct that they find each other. But I kind of want to intersect here. No alpha male does this. No alpha male acts like this. Like if you cross paths or you come into a certain territory where alpha male is, yes, he is gonna display his power. If it's a gorilla, he's gonna beat his chest. If it's a lion, he's gonna roar. If you force him to fight, he's gonna fight. But this notion that Godzilla goes out and finds the other titans, but this was definitely established in King of All Monsters, where, you know, Ghidorah came to see Rodan. Godzilla comes to Ghidorah when he's free. It's already established, so these are their rules. So it's a constant. So I'll let it slide. In any case, Godzilla comes for King Kong, and they have their round one fight. Now, if you saw the preview, you seen, you know, as soon as Godzilla comes onto the ship, you see King Kong hit him. You see in the Japanese version where Godzilla like slaps him, man. He slaps him like hard and he falls. And then King Kong gets back up and he fights. And then Godzilla's in his element and he lets it be known. He blows up the ship with his atomic breath. And then he actually go ahead and he attacks King Kong while underwater, which is very smart. Some people I was watching it was like, it's not fair because, you know, King Kong isn't, you know, a water-based animal, which is true, but Godzilla is. And hey, if you're gonna be an apex predator, hey, take the win how you can. He attacks King Kong. He basically almost drowns him. And Kong is saved by the humans. The humans send out some depth charges that have a little disorientation for Godzilla. He lets King Kong go. King Kong gets to the surface and basically he's just like out of it. And so that's round one. Godzilla wins. Godzilla is up 1-0. 1-0, guys. Sorry for any Kong fans. I'm a Kong fan. I'm a fan of both of these guys. I would have been happy with whoever won, but King Kong definitely lost the first round. Godzilla did what he was supposed to do in his element. So moving forward, they go ahead and take Kong to the Hollow Earth. They have these specialized ships to help with the gravity inversion and all that. They get to and they use the little girl who speaks sign language to Kong, and they find out that of course Kong can speak back. He's very smart. My guess is that his whole race was very smart. I'm not sure if they all communicated with the, I want to say their tribe was the Iwi, but that's where this little girl from, the tribe that was from Kong Skull Island, that's where she's from. If you're wondering where she's from that tribe, her tribe was destroyed when the storm took over. And Kong is basically protecting her, and he communicates with her, and he trusts her. So she tells him, you know, your family might be in there. We don't really know. And Kong goes into the Hollow Earth. This is where he finds his the battle axe that looks like it's a piece of maybe a fin off an older Godzilla relative, and the bone of maybe even a skull crawler or something like that. But in any case, it looks like a battle axe. It absorbs energy and anything like that. And so while they're doing all of that, we got Madison and her crew. They've invaded Apex. They found out what's going on. They have seen Mecha Godzilla at this point in action. He completely destroys a skull crawler, like no problem at all. Where King Kong had a little trouble, it was the big skull crawler too. And where King Kong had a little trouble with this thing, even though he defeated it, man, Mecha Godzilla tears through him like it's nothing. And we find that his weakness is he doesn't have a sufficient power source. And this is what they're after going to Hollow Earth. In any case, moving forward, Kong does, like I said, he does find his battle axe. He does actually find the energy source, and we see that the main villain's daughter is there, and she basically gets the power source, and they download and replicate it in like 4 seconds, for goodness sake. I did not like that part. It was a little forced, but they find this power source and they replicate it, and they immediately send it to Mecha Godzilla without testing it, and we all know what happens. He goes all Galvatron. If you've ever seen the Transformers where Megatron was supposedly dead and they put his body into Galvatron and he takes over, this is basically what happens with Mecha Godzilla. So, that being stated, Godzilla senses the power that the battle axe is putting out. He basically blows a hole in Earth all the way down to Hollow Earth. We see Kong kind of fight a few monsters in Hollow Earth. he does very well for himself for all intents and purposes, but he climbs out of the hole that Godzilla actually blows down in it. And before he does, he kills the main villain's daughter because she shot at him, so he crushes her ship. Anyway, jumps up the hole, and now we get another face off between Godzilla and King Kong. So round two, and here we freaking go. We see how innovative Kong is, how smart he is, even though he is, for all intents and purposes, outmatched. Godzilla is bigger. Godzilla has basically mutated scales, which basically act as armor. He's very durable, even though King Kong was getting in a lot of hits and things of that nature. Man, Godzilla is just, he's the man. Like, he is a monster for all intents and purposes, and he does do what he's supposed to do. Think of it as if I had a discussion with somebody and they were like, man, they made it seem like Kong couldn't fight, but he could. He did a lot. He elbowed him. He put him in a headlock. He tried to kind of split his mouth, but he blew his breath. And, of course, he can't keep his hands in his mouth when he's doing that. And they even, at this point, they pay one of the homages, one of the three big homages that I remember big. Godzilla tries to, blow his atomic breath, and instead, King Kong sticks the back of the battle axe in his mouth. In the old Toho movie, it was a tree. He actually took a tree and stuck it in Godzilla's mouth instead. So that was pretty cool homage to the old, I want to say 1962 version. In any case, we see Kong, he's, jumping from building to building, trying to dodge the atomic breath. Then he actually takes like this round Ferris wheel looking thing. He blocks the atomic breath, does a spin move right out of the NBA, grabs the battle axe, and this is where we see the scene where Godzilla actually, blows his atomic breath, and he actually absorbs it with the battle axe, and he hits Godzilla with the axe coming down. Now, when he does this, it causes Godzilla to kind of fall out, and this is a break in the fight, and round two goes to Kong. So we're 1-1, and King Kong is 1-1. Godzilla has 1-1 in water, and it's down to this last round. And it's pretty cool. I like the way they did it, like round by round, like they're boxers. And basically, that's what this is, a huge boxing fight. So like I said, I had this discussion with somebody, and I was like, just imagine Bruce Lee fighting Mike Tyson. And I use this example because Mike Tyson, he's bigger. He's actually pretty fast for his for his size, and he's powerful, and he can take a lot of hits. Now we know Bruce Lee is gonna get his hits in and stuff like that, but let's be honest. If Mike was to land one or two good shots, that's it, and that's what it is in this fight. This is a heavyweight fight, and let's be clear here. King Kong is definitely outside of his weight class. If you look at the movie, even though he's bigger comparatively to the other Kong versions, he's still small in comparison to Godzilla. They kind of amped him up a little bit, kind of saying he was an adolescent in Kong Skull Island, so he could be bigger in this movie. But he's still small compared to Godzilla. In any case, round three starts, and Kong knows Godzilla's not down for long. He's like I said, he's very smart, so he hides on top of a building. He kind of backs up in the smoke. He hides on top of a building, and he actually puts the battle axe in a different area than where he's at. So while this is the third round is about to take off, we see that Mechagodzilla has basically taken over for himself. The bad guy's trying to give his little stinky speech or whatnot, and man, Mechagodzilla turns around and he basically swipes him out of the little box that he's in where he's kind of viewing him. And Brian Tyree Henry, makes a little funny remark. He really wanted to hear the end of the speech or whatnot. And so Mechagodzilla has taken over. They're using two Ghidorah. They said two Ghidorah heads. Now, I could explain one of them. One of them came from when Godzilla bit off his head in King of the Monsters. He bit off his head, and that one was floating in the ocean, and then he grew it back later on in the movie. I remember that. But they were saying that there were two heads. It was one in the actual Mechagodzilla or / Mechagodzilla, basically. I would say it's either one. But in any case, they did that. And then they said there was one in the Mechagodzilla, and there was one that the actual controller was in because it's supposed to be a telepathic link that they were trying to say that, you know, Ghidorah had. But I don't know where the second skull came from. So anybody, please explain to me where the second skull came from in the comments. I missed it because I know where the first one came from. The second one, I have no clue. In any case, we get to the third round after Mechagodzilla has basically took control, electrocuted his controller, and now he's in control himself. Like I said, he pulled a Galvatron. And so what ends up happening is Godzilla and King Kong go for their round 3. King Kong distracts Godzilla. He throws like maybe a crane at him. And he looks over. King Kong jumps off the building, puts him in the headlock. They start fighting again. And Godzilla starts pulling out all the stops, man. He burns King Kong with his atomic breath. He scratches him. He bites him. He uses his fangs and claws, something that King Kong does have teeth, but it's similar to a gorilla trying to bite a crocodile. The crocodile may not feel it through his scales, let's be honest. Those scales are pretty thick. And that being stated, and him being mutated, he doesn't feel all of that. And even though Kong is getting in some hints, Kong doesn't have armor. So when Godzilla is scratching him and he's biting him, he feels everything. Now, at this one point that I did not like, and I'll explain a little bit later, King Kong does stab Godzilla with the axe right in the leg, and man, he takes it and shrugs it off. He bites the axe and throws it. And then this is when he's after Kong. He's scratching him up. And then he stomps on his chest, and basically he makes Kong submit. He doesn't kill him, which we're glad of that. And he very well could have in the position that he was, but he did not kill him. But he basically made him submit. And this is round 3 goes to Godzilla. And so now Godzilla is up 2-1. That's it. Godzilla wins. That's it. Kong is down. And his homie comes, and she's concerned because she can feel that his heart is slowing down. And here's another homage. If you haven't seen the old movie, Kong gets struck by lightning and he's powered up. And this is how he basically ends up being toe-to-toe with Godzilla. He gets struck by lightning. Well, in this one, when his heart is slowing down, they use the ship to jumpstart his heart. And basically that's their lightning that they were gonna do. So I'm glad that it wasn't actual lightning per se, but that was pretty cool that they actually, kind of inserted that for it to be kind of a homage to that. So while they're doing that, and Godzilla is basically claiming his victory, Mechagodzilla blows a hole, and this is where we see, if you've seen the preview where you see the people running and there's a machine, it's Mechagodzilla. It's Mechagodzilla, and he's coming, and man, is he ever. He has everything. He has missiles. Just like the Mechagodzilla, if you've seen the old movies, he actually is definitely upgraded. He is very agile, as a matter of fact. And Godzilla, for another matter, is very fast in this movie as well. He's very vicious in this movie, as a matter of fact. But in any case, he's no match for Mechagodzilla by himself. Man, he's shooting missiles at him, man. Now, Godzilla does shrug off these missiles at first. But, man, he basically powers up his punches with the power source. And then he uses the rockets to put a little more oomph in it. Man, when he hits Godzilla, he really hits him. And he's just dragging Godzilla. He's throwing him through buildings. He's doing everything he can. So, after King Kong gets his shot of adrenaline and his heart restarted because he was actually dying, he joins the fight. His friend tells him, hey, Godzilla's not your enemy. Mechagodzilla is, and please be careful. That's where you see where she says be careful. He gets up, he joins the fight with his axe, and him and Godzilla team up like Batman versus Superman versus Doomsday, and they go with Mechagodzilla. Now, Mechagodzilla, for all intents and purposes, is still holding his own. He's throwing Kong. He's throwing Godzilla. He's doing everything he can to win. He's using his tail, the drill tail. Now, this reminded me of, if you all have never, of course, everybody's watched the Power Rangers, but this drilling tail reminded me of the Power Rangers, Green Rangers, Dragon Zord. That's what it reminded me of. And he's like trying to drill into Godzilla at one point. Kong saves him. Then he's trying to drill into Kong. And now Madison and Bernie, they're all in there and they're trying to figure out a way to slow down Mechagodzilla or shut him down. They can't figure out the password. And then they do this kind of ex machina move where they take the liquor and they pour it on the keyboard and Mechagodzilla basically starts malfunctioning. Now, that being stated, Godzilla is kind of down for the count at this point, and King Kong is kind of trying to fight it on his own. And Godzilla sees that Kong is kind of struggling with the tail. The tail kind of malfunctions at this point because of the liquor. And then Godzilla blasts the axe with his atomic breath, charges it up, and this gives Kong enough power to start cutting through Mechagodzilla. He's just slicing through him like a knife through butter. And now this is the part I have a little bit of a problem with, because when he stabs Godzilla, the thing is glowing just like it is in this scene, but it doesn't go through Godzilla. It's just like a stab wound, and Godzilla throws it. And so, are we saying that Godzilla's scales are stronger than metal? Because, man, when King Kong is hitting him, it's like one swipe. He's not hacking. He's like one swiping him, and he's taking off limb by limb or whatnot at this point. And then he chops into his head. Now, this doesn't go completely through, and it looks like Mechagodzilla's gonna like blow his beam again. They have this. I forgot to say that they had this like atomic breath versus beam, and of course the beam won or whatnot. And so King Kong chops him right in the neck or whatnot, and he jumps on top of him and he rips his head off, and he holds it up like he's Kano or Sub-Zero off of Mortal Kombat. Speaking of, we will be doing a review on Mortal Kombat, but he holds his head up like he just did a finish him move, and then he claims his victory, man. So they come together and they do beat Mechagodzilla, which is actually pretty cool in itself. Like I said, I definitely enjoyed the movie. Godzilla does one more roar, basically saying that they're cool. That's what I took it as. And then he goes off in the water, which is another homage of, King Kong versus Godzilla 1962, where they roll off the hill into the water, and then you see just King Kong come out of the water. This time we see Godzilla going into the water and basically saying, hey, look, we cool, man. I'm going my way, you go your way. And so Kong does end up, there's no after credit scene, but Kong does end up in Hollow Earth. I want to say it was either New Rockstar, shout out to those guys, I love those guys, or it was 3C Films. I also love those guys. Those are two YouTubers y'all should follow if y'all don't follow them. But they basically one or the other basically predicted that King Kong would be like the king of Hollow Earth and Godzilla would be ruling, on top. And basically that's what it is. King Kong went to Hollow Earth. That's where his home is now. He was signing "This Is Home," and that's where he was at the end of the movie, kind of more so enjoying himself than the beginning of the movie. So like I told you guys, this was King Kong's movie, in my opinion. Yeah, Godzilla was definitely a guest star, a huge guest star, but this was King Kong's movie. And I think a lot of people more so identified because they made him a little bit more human, with him being able to talk, with him being so smart and things of that nature. And I mean talk by sign language. But in any case, I liked it. I definitely liked it. I think the right monster or kaiju, whichever one you want to call them, I think the right one won. Because logically, if you just think about it, man, Godzilla just has too many weapons and he's too protected for King Kong to actually come out on top. Yes, King Kong is more agile, and he showed this. He is smarter, and he showed that as well. But at the end of the day, Godzilla got one or two good hits in, and that's all it took. So, like I said, I definitely love the movie. Out of 10, I would definitely give this movie a 7.5 out of 10 cups of coffee. I absolutely enjoyed it from beginning to end. Action nonstop. The story was okay, guys. The acting was pretty good for a kaiju movie. It was what it was supposed to be for a kaiju movie, an ultimate fight movie. And also, with that being stated, I couldn't get enough of these fights. They gave us 3 kaiju fights. Well, 4 actually in one movie, and it all made sense. And, you know, the thing was, it wasn't 1-1. It wasn't like, oh, man, well, he won this one and he won this one. They gave us what they promised. They said one will fall, and King Kong did fall. He definitely almost died fighting Godzilla. And like I said, I think they picked the right person to win. I'm okay with the decision. I'm definitely good with that. And King Kong fans, don't get mad, man. Like love the movie for what it is. And if you're a King Kong fan and you want him to win, I understand. But at the end of the day, man, again, Godzilla has too many weapons. So you guys tell me what you all thought about the movie King Kong versus Godzilla. That's what I liked about the movie. That's what I didn't like about the movie, and everything in between. Y'all see I'm rocking the shirt. Both of them are on here because, like I said, I love both of these guys. Try out that Atomic Breath. It's absolutely strong and it's really good. I love it. Love that, guys. Check out my video on that. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all joining me for this sip and review at the coffee bar. King Kong versus Godzilla. Guys, please take care of yourself. It looks like we're opening back up at the end of the pandemic. I still want everybody to take care of yourself. Love yourself. And, you know, if you need some help, man, please reach out, talk to somebody. Do what you need to do to get better. I want you all to treat yourselves well. I love you. You should love you. You guys are awesome. Have a great one.